Yeah, you know what it is. Welcome to the best coast. Yo, it's Bronze Age nerd with that collecting elite. Big B McFly, steady bringing the vintage heat. Pull up a seat, we diving in the stacks. Silver to the bronze, got the knowledge on tap. From Kirby's Kings to the mutants, wow. We breaking it down in that laid-back style. So grab your snacks, let the panels unfold. This is comic book chilling with the stories we told. Comic book vibes, we flipping them pages. Legends and lore from all the ages. Golden to the modern, we talk that news. With Big B McFly and the nerd cut loose. Yo, you tune into that Bronze Age flow. Where comics live and legends grow. Big B McFly in the cut, let's fly. Best coast, baby, comics are what saved me. Big B, yeah. Baby, comics are what saved me.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Christopher, aka the Bronze Age Nerd, and I am joined, as always, by my trusty co-host,
Professor Charles Xavier.
I love your work. All your men
I knew you
are
were going
great.
to say that. Big B McFly, the comic guy.
What's up, Big B? I can tell by I didn't hear from you much today, so I'm only going to assume that you had a very busy day. Is that correct?
Kind of. I had some things going on. Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully they weren't bad things, and hopefully they were good things, but glad you're able to join us. Glad all of you out there are able to join us. This is Best Coast Comics. We're going to go over the latest comic book news, talk about art from the comic book community that people have shared with us, and we're also going to interact with the chat. All of you watching right now or watching on the rewind, we'd love to hear from you. Quick note, we are streaming on multiple different channels. So you can be watching us right now on the Bronze Age Nerd YouTube channel. That's me. You can be watching on Professor Charles Xavier himself's channel. That's Big B McFly, the comic guy, on YouTube, or also on the EXP, which is a network of comic shows that I highly recommend you check out. I think Big B recommends it as well. And yeah, all the links for all those are in the channel description below. So make sure you go and check out all of those. Ooh, no blind bags. We already got the blind bag talk coming in. We're definitely gonna be talking blind bags in the chat for this week's topic. It's a big part of the news, and we are going to say hello to everybody in chat. But before I do that, there's one other quick note I want to make sure I put out there for anybody watching on the rewind or watching live. Big B and I, the next time you see us on this show live, we will be fresh off of Frankenstein Comic Swap in Portland, Oregon. That's going to take place this Saturday. I want to say it's from 11 to 5 for the public. I keep mixing up the vendor hours with the public hours, but it's something kind of like that. And it's only $1 if you wait till after the first hour to get in. It's like $5 if you want to get in right away or something like that. It's super cheap. It's at the Lloyd Center Shopping Mall in Portland, Oregon, where I promise you it's not a true war zone. So definitely come on down. Big B and I are going to be sharing. We have 3 tables that are going to be pushed together, and half of those tables are going to be Big B and I sharing some space and offering some great, awesome comic deals, honestly. And then the other half of our table is going to be shared with the people I shared the table with last time at Frankenstein Comic Swap. Dan's X-Men Comics, who's an awesome dude. He's bringing lots of like Mark Jeweler X-Men comics and stuff, and also QWERTY Comics, who works at Excalibur Comics in Portland, Oregon, which is a massive comic book shop, and he has tons of X-Men and all kinds of great stuff that he'll be bringing as well. So you definitely want to come check that out. That is this Saturday at Lloyd Center Mall in Portland, Oregon. That's the 18th of October, just in time for that pre-Halloween spooky season. Come check it out, everybody. Yeah, before I get started on the comic news, you got anything else you want to talk about, Big B?
No, we should have a wide variety of books there at the show, like going everywhere from bin diving to the high-end stuff. If you check out the stuff Dan's been posting on Instagram, he's got some awesome X books he was showing. So
yeah, some really killer stuff. Definitely check that out. Before I hit that news drop, let's say hello to everybody who said hello in chat. We got GT Key Comic holding it down. He's getting that gold medal finish for that first comment. We love that. I talked to Harry Potter Obama here a second ago. Said no blind bags, but we got a couple J. Scott exclusive at NYCC, or are you talking about the J. Scott Campbell McFarlane exclusives, which got announced? Just making sure, because I think there's both of those things.
Right.
And Metal Elf Collectibles taking home that venerable bronze medal. Welcome into the show, Metal Elf. Oh, we got Rad Art and Comics in the chat. What's up, Rad Art? That's formerly Norin Rad. You guys might know him as a fantastic community artist that we love to show his stuff. Yeah, I saw the She Spawn one. Looks really cool. It's actually a legit booty cover too, by the way. I think that. So we'll be talking about that in a second. All right. Well, we'll say hello to everybody else as they drop into chat. But in the meantime, we got lots of this comic book news to talk about. So let's hit that news drop. All right. So the first bit of news is something that I actually meant to talk about earlier in the week, but it is kind of just a quick little bit of news here about, unfortunately, talking a little bit more about Neil Gaiman. So this is probably not news that most people following this story were hoping for, but basically a judge in Wisconsin has dropped the lawsuit against Neil Gaiman and his estranged wife, Amanda Palmer. The charges in that lawsuit contain such things as human trafficking, assault, battery, quite a bit of stuff, negligence, a bunch of terrible things. It's not because the judge doesn't feel like this is a real case or there's not merit to this case. It's actually all a jurisdiction issue. Apparently, the crimes are supposed to have happened in New Zealand. So the judge said, like, as basically a point of order, that the charges should be filed in New Zealand.
Right.
Is basically what this comes down to. So not a huge update, not super earth-shattering or anything like that, but it is something that I wanted to make sure people understand, because I see a lot of people saw this headline and were talking about it. I wanted to make sure we talked about the actual reason why the lawsuit was dismissed. It wasn't based on the merit of the facts or what's happening in the situation, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't care. Thanks for the super chat. So the next thing we're going to talk about here is some pretty cool news with Free Comic Book Day. Something that is, a little bit more pro positive the comics community here.
Yeah.
No, not Noel Gaiman and not Neil Gaiman either. Neil Gaiman. Okay. So Free Comic Book Day is now acquired by Universal Distribution. So a lot of people wondered with the whole Diamond debacle, what would happen with Free Comic Book Day. Now we have our answer. It is moving on to Universal Distribution. It's a good thing, right?
Yeah. It's definitely a good thing that Free Comic Day is a really important thing for the community. So yeah. That's and for a lot of businesses to acquire new clientele and expose a lot of new people to comics. So yeah, it's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, hopefully this means that it's handled correctly. That's what we'd like to see. Hopefully a rather seamless transition, or hey, maybe even better for retailers, and therefore better for consumers. That would be awesome. So they do say that Universal's plans for the event include an enhanced operational infrastructure utilizing Universal's logistics technology and distribution networks, stronger cross-industry collaboration, and innovative fan experiences, including digital integrations, exclusive merchandise, and new marketing initiatives to evolve the event for the new generation. A lot of that sounds like press release buzz speak to me, but if they live up to it, great. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, no, it'd be cool if they're doing like digital stuff for the FCBD. That'd be pretty cool. Like we've been talking about a lot of the digital platforms getting involved. So like,
yeah,
that could be important too, because a lot of the new readers are reading digitally. So
exactly. And, it could be things like innovative fan experiences, could be like virtual cons where you get to like talk to creators and ask questions through like a live chat or something like that. We've seen some success with things like that in the past. That could be pretty fun.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool.
So apologize. I am still somehow sick, so I've managed to be sick throughout most of September and the first half of October here. Hopefully getting over it, but I've had a nasty cough, so I will hit the mute button every once in a while. You'll see me cough just to try to spare your ears.
That is elementary school.
Yes, well, and it's in this area, it's just going around like wildfire right now, unfortunately.
Right. You know, I've been hearing that a lot from people at work. It's like,
yeah,
not coming in, not feeling great. So it's like, okay. So yeah, luckily I've been, knock on wood.
Yeah. Yeah, I interact with 2 super spreaders on a regular basis. So
right.
Yeah, this is what it is. So we have, oh, hey, what's up, Derek? How you doing? Thanks for joining the show. So we've got quite a bit of this is probably the biggest news item that we're gonna talk about. This is from Bleeding Cool. Credit to I think it was ICV2 on the last story, by the way, and Locust Mag on the Neil Gaiman topic. So the big story here is Todd McFarlane spoke at New York City Comic Con in kind of a industry keynote to sort of fashion, as well I'll call it. And he said that McFarlane Comics will not be using blind bags for Spawn. He cites concerns over fads and long-term value, according to this article.
Well, that's good that he's considering that. Like, a lot of people don't consider the secondary market and then how that will affect the future sales of their books. So that is important.
It's important. It's rather interesting, though, because one thing I know about Todd McFarlane, so I follow McFarlane Toys, and through that, and I mean, he said this in other places too when he's talked about comic book collecting. He really appreciates the rarity of collecting. So it is kind of interesting in a way, because I would actually see blind bags as being something that's almost up his alley, because he does like the idea of almost what's the word for that, like forced rarity or whatever, artificial rarity. That's what I'm looking for. So it's kind of interesting in a way, because I could kind of see him getting behind blind bags from that perspective. I think. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I was gonna say, you and I aren't immune to that. Like, we were in a whatnot sale on our friend's channel on Comics Limited's channel, and it was fun, right?
Kind of. It actually, so I don't want to say this in a negative way, but it reinforced my opinions about blind bags, which is I occasionally dip into them, and I was kind of curious to dip into some. So I had a conversation with Comics Limited at Rose City Comic Con. I think you were off doing some photography or some cosplay and doing some quick interviews with people, I think. And I kind of was talking about the blind bags he was doing for some of the Marvel books that came out this year, because those are the ones I care the most about.
Right.
And he'd brought up a good point about some of the cool covers that came out for like the X-Men 97 one and the Doom one they had. And he got me excited for that next wave, which was what did they call it? Like, was it called 25 something?
Marvel 25. Yeah. Marvel 25.
And so I was interested about what those like cool covers could look like, things like sketch covers or the rare inserts or whatever. And I chased a couple, and it's it's gambling. It's what it is. It's gambling, man.
It is. I guess if you can keep it under control and you're having fun, like, it's cool. But
yeah,
I wouldn't say I didn't have fun with seeing what I pulled out of some of those bags. It was fun.
Metal Elf, that is absolutely. So I kind of conflated two terms there. I was looking for the term manufactured scarcity, not rarity. It is absolutely different for sure.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I think that I am a believer in a high tide can raise all ships. So I do think there's some value to the blind bag approach if it gets people excited. But the thing I caution against, and I'll just remove this for a second so it's easier to see us talk about this. The thing I caution against is sort of the fad that happened with grading, the fad that happened with tons of variant covers, which we're not over that fad, that happened during the boom about 5 years back. And I do think that it long term, yeah, short term, it's good for the industry because it injects new collectors. People are putting money into the industry. Long term, I question how good it is actually for the industry, though, because I do think that it kind of leaves people with a lot of feeling like they got the burnt piece of toast at the end of breakfast that no one else wanted,
Yeah.
and that happens to you enough, and you start to almost kind of resent things about the hobby. You see a lot of negativity associated around things like grading comic books, mass grading comic books. I mean, I don't think anybody thinks that if you grade well, I shouldn't say that. I think most people understand that there's a need to grade things like, very valuable comic books that might need to be locked into a grade and value for insurance purposes or for passing down to relatives or for those kinds of things, right?
Right.
But when you're talking about taking a brand new comic book off the rack that you're not even sure is going to be, a hit comic book, but because it's by a famous artist or something like that, and instantly slabbing it with the intent to sell it at some point for a profit, again, that's your choice. You can do whatever you want with that. But I do think it does leave some people with some bad taste in their mouths when it comes to the hobby.
I definitely think it's like a buyer beware kind of thing, and be knowledgeable about what you're getting into. That's why, like, when I was going into it, I was bidding very minimally on the bags. Like, and most of the bags I was getting below retail, so I was happy to do those, and those were fun. But yeah, if you are going in and you're going to be investing a bunch of money, maybe you're not even buying the bags, you're just buying the issues individually, and they don't hold the value that you spent on those books, then I could see that. I mean, when you're opening the bags, the big expensive bags, and you're hoping to hit that, it's just like buying a lottery ticket, right? You're hoping to hit that
100%.
big huge expensive book. But yeah, I mean, if you go into it buyer beware, you know what you're doing, then it's kind of on the consumer. But I do see what you're saying about like the health of the industry, whether it's good or not. But it's, to me, I think it's okay. It was fun, but like I said, you've got to be aware of like what you're getting into, and whether or not those books that I'm getting, I'm not thinking that they're going to be $1 million books or $1,000 books or anything like that. I expect them to be probably the value of the bag that I paid for them or less, later on. So
yeah. If you, it's like gambling in the sense that it's best if you approach it with, here's money that I'm basically throwing away.
Right. Yeah.
Or putting towards something that you're going to want no matter what the outcome is.
It's fun that way. And like, I will say that Trav is very unusual. Like, some guys were getting like duplicates of the same covers, and he was so cool. He was just like, "Oh, you got 2 of that one. Let me give you a different one." He was like so nice. Or, "Let me open up a new bag for you," which was like, I'm like, dude, you're like re-upping their chances of getting something super awesome when you open a new bag. But yeah, he was so nice to everybody.
Yeah, and I think that that reflects on his buyers are noticing that too. You can definitely see it. You can call out in the chat. People call out in a positive way, of course. And by the way, hello, Ozzy. I was waiting to highlight your comment there. Thanks for joining the show. Curious about your thoughts about this, Ozzy. I know that you're a comic seller. I'm curious what you think about blind bags and everything going on with them. And I think that, of course, it's fine if people want to spend their money on it. It's just, to me, it's more. I think about what's happening right now in sports cards, and to a certain extent, like Pokemon cards, that kind of stuff too. There's a lot of people that are starting to go like, ripping wax. In other words, opening packs is the worst thing you can do. And it kind of makes me wonder with how some of these, the really popular blind bags, the ones that go for 100 to 200 or more per purchase on Whatnot, a lot of the Whatnot exclusives, does make me wonder, if you wait long enough, couldn't you just buy the comic you were looking for at close to the same price? And in a lot of cases, the answer is yes. In some cases, those books skyrocket. But if you go back and look at some of those X-Men 97 big hits that were coming out for that first Marvel Whatnot pack, comic trading pack, whatever the actual term they call them is, I totally blanked on what they actually call it. Comic trading pack, I think, is maybe what they call them. A lot of those are available for much less than they were going for at the time. I mean, that's the same thing I call out all the time with the spec stuff. It's really in the moment. If you're quick flipping it, you can definitely make money on it. If you're holding it as a long-term investment, probably not as much.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Like, I always go into it like, if I want to pick some of that stuff up, I always try to pick it up on the 3 months later end of it. You don't want to buy something when it's hot. You want to buy it you either want to have it before it's hot,
and
get rid of it, or you want to get it on the downturn when it comes back down. So,
but I mean, to be fair, the flip side of that is if you're that person who gets lucky and wins the lottery and you've spent $75 on a pack of comics and one of them's worth $1,000 the next day, I mean, you won, right? But like the thing that people that's the trap, but people forget that that's the odds of that happening are so low.
Hey, Collector Pete.
Yep. And I just want to get caught up with chat here for a second. Harry Potter Obama says you also release the same, if not more, dopamine when you lose, the same way how we feel when we win. That's an interesting approach. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
You think you were there? Yeah. I do want to point out too that that's actually, what I was just talking about with if you're the person who buys the pack for $75, it's crazy on Whatnot. Somebody like Comics Limited, we're talking about who, great guy, good seller, but he has a smaller following. And because of that, those packs were going, the Marvel 25 packs, I hope he doesn't mind me saying this, they were going for like $75 to $100 is what I saw them going for, $80 to $100, something like that. And, I think we were talking separately and you were saying like you saw other channels where they're going for like what, twice that much or something?
Yeah, they're going like $150, $200, like $185 on some of the other channels, but he's got a smaller following, so
yeah,
the bidding wasn't as crazy. And I think the people who were there have a more realistic view of what they should be worth. That being said, like I don't begrudge him getting those packs. That he gets that on a spec deal when he gets those from Whatnot. They come in, you get them just like a retailer would get a box of trading cards or something, and they charge you. It's nice. They as a Whatnot seller, they charge you after the sale. It comes out of your account, but yeah, it's interesting. The other thing I was going to say, you mentioned rip it or keep it sealed kind of thing. Like if you look at like vintage sports, like if it's still sealed, it's worth a lot more. I'm wondering like how much of this stuff is remaining still sealed, because we're seeing a lot of rip. So, down the line, the sealed stuff could be very, very scarce, very rare. That's
a good point. And it makes me wonder too, because I think the example that I see a lot is like what is it, 86 Fleer NBAs, the Michael Jordan rookie or whatever.
Right.
Those can go for a boatload. And a lot of other, similar types of things like that. Like sealed Tiffany cards, those were always a little bit more rare, valuable or whatever.
Right.
And it does make you wonder, because with the Whatnot packs, most people are ripping them. Conversely, it makes you wonder because there is a huge history of weird stuff going on at Whatnot.
Oh, like leftover inventory
around.
Or something kind of thing.
Yeah, that some of these sellers, the real sharks out there, and I don't even know who that. I honestly don't even know who that would be these days. I haven't been big on the Whatnot scene for a while. Back in the day, I can name some names or whatever. It makes you wonder if they got like a couple cases of them or whatever that were just in case there were damages or. I'm just speculating. I'm purely speculating, but. Every once in a while, there was.
It would be interesting because like that happens too with like a remaindered inventory and stuff too. So like some dealer down the line, gets like several cases of stuff that never moved because they had extra or something for damages and stuff. That's an interesting concept. Not that we're saying that's happening, but
no. And it could be that Marvel is keeping the print run integrity with this, but there's also could be, hey, we printed 25% extra for eventualities that can happen or whatever. We don't really know,
right?
Because that's what happens with these things sometimes. It's part of the fun of it, I guess. Yeah. I did want to take a second to say hello to a couple of people that popped in the chat. We're definitely gonna try to get caught up here. Preston, love to see you in the chat. I know we're streaming too late for you to join in. But it absolutely is a nice thing to see from a seller. He's a rare breed for sure.
For sure.
And then, Collector P, I know Big B said hi to you, but I want to officially highlight your comment now that I got down to you in the chat there. Kamikaze says he actually likes the idea of the blind packs. That came from repacks in the card world. The buy-in is relatively low, so participating is kind of fun for me. Yeah, there's a big difference between Like DC, this is actually not a new story I pulled, but I saw something that they're going to stick to the $10 blind bag model going forward of the retail cost, which is interesting because I know, like, you know, the Whatnot exclusive Marvel packs or some of the other blind bags you see are a lot more. So
yeah, well, I think like the price for the seller is, I think it'd be nice to have Travis on here, and I think it's in like the $12 to $15 range per pack for them.
Oh, it's definitely different. I'm talking about for the consumer.
Oh, for the consumer, yeah.
That's
kind of, I think, it's set by the market, like how interested people are in those covers and stuff. And they seem to go for around close to the $100 range per pack almost on average. But
yeah,
that's on initial release. As time goes by, they go get cheaper and cheaper. So
gosh, I feel like I highlighted Derek earlier. If I didn't, just in case, I'm covering my behind here. Hello, Derek.
We said hi to Derek, but hi again, Derek. We love you, buddy.
You deserve 2 highs. That's how cool you are, Derek.
Double high.
It's like going to Vegas. I love that. That's perfect way to put it, Ozzy. Every bit of speculation is based upon previous events that have happened. That's a really good way to look at it, except for well, even that's true, I guess. Even when the first Marvel blind bags came out, it was based on blind bags in different collectors arenas for sure. Hey, we got Christina in the chat. What's up, Christina? How's it going?
Hey, our friend Christina.
What is up? Hydrasylum's lurking. Shout out to Hydrasylum, who's lurking backstage as our producer, by the way. Lurking, but not sure if you'll get to it, but wanted your thoughts on the DC KO cameos that were teased at NYCC. Yeah, I don't know if you can pull a story for that for me. I can't remember if I posted it in our news feed, just in case I don't get to it. That would help remind me. So unopened TCG packs and boxes oftentimes go for a bit of money if it becomes a collectible. Would an open blind packs for comics do the same? Yeah, Murdoch, that's exactly what Big B was just talking about, and I fully think that there could be something to that.
Yeah, I mean, I wish there's so many times where I kind of like put on my Karnak hat and I go, hey, you know, I can see this coming. I just don't see how. When all the limited edition serial numbered cards and everything were coming out, I'm like, I can see this coming for Magic somehow, and I can see this coming for comics, but how would they do it in comics? They'd have to put them in packs, and I just don't see them putting in comics in packs because condition is such a thing. But yeah, I was wrong there. I mean, I did have a little bit of foresight, but I was a little bit wrong there.
For sure. And yeah, and that's something we'll definitely be talking about, Harry Potter, Obama. It depends on 2 things: price and hits. If you can get packs on FOC for like $5 each, then it's fun with relatively no downside. But if the hits are just foil versions of cover A, then it's not as fun. Yeah, and I think that's kind of what we've seen a little bit more of with DC. Not completely, but it's a little bit more like that.
I mean, there were ultra rares in the DCs too.
Right? There are, but it's a lot of the foily variant kind of stuff too.
Yeah,
that's what the common stuff that people were getting was.
Right.
Glad to see you're still going strong after hearing you on the class. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it sounds like his illness was apparent earlier. Hey, thanks for that. We appreciate that, Christina. Got a She-Hulk smash that thumbs up. Christina's a big She-Hulk fan. Yeah, whatever your favorite character is, make sure you go in and smash, blast, pow, kaboom.
Harley Hammer.
Yeah, Harley Hammer, exactly. Rogue smooch, whatever it is, Hey, E-Man, what's up, E-Man? How you doing? Hello from the Best Coast. Exactly. You're on the Best Coast as well. You know what's up. You know what time it is. In the blind bags, do they actually put random big ticket items in there, or is it like cheap 3-packs? It does depend.
No, it's not like Ollie's though. It's completely new books.
Yes, it's not. Well, I guess that's not technically true. I think there are some that reuse some old comic books every once in a while too. Maybe I'm wrong.
Completely new. They're completely new covers of or new cover versions of. They're not like they're taking books from the 80s and putting them in packs or anything like that.
Right. Although I'm just saying, it'd be kind of fun if they did do some stuff like that.
Oh yeah, wouldn't it be like if you're going after like Bronze Age hits or Silver Age? We're here we go. Karnak hat is on right there.
Yeah. But yeah, for the most part, it's newer ultra rare variants. Like The really common example is it's like an original sketch cover or
right,
the big hit, which could be from an artist you love and know, or from somebody you never heard of. It just really depends.
true.
I lost my spot here. Derek says those first Whatnot packs last year were okay. People were paying like 200.
They were pretty high for a little bit there.
Prints. Yeah, I think so too. I kind of agree with Derek there. Although people will chase chase that comic dragon, they'll chase that Fin Fang Foom.
That's right.
I appreciate that. Thanks, Jay. If you're watching, you can watch us over on Instagram too, on the EXP's Instagram channel. Christina pointed out the Comics Curing Cancer link tree there for an event going on right now in the community. Harley, swing that bat, she says. Yeah, artists doing their own blind bags is kind of fun. I saw I actually met a creator that was doing his own blind bags 2 years ago at Rose City Comic Con. That was pretty fun.
Yeah, well, and Jim Obar did those crow ones, right? So which was interesting. Trav showed me, he sent me some messages, and he got a couple of the NYCC crow blind bags. I didn't realize how expensive they were. He's like sending me, they were like $200 a piece. And I was like, holy, he's like, look what I got. And I was like, wow. He's like, I'm going to open them on my Halloween show. I was like, okay.
Damn.
But yeah.
Trick or treat. I mostly want to talk about the blind bag portion of this article. However, Todd did get asked about Spawn, Spawn film in this interview as well. The question was, will the Spawn movie ever come out? And the answer, yeah. Oh man, right for the jugular. Yeah, okay. It's a good question. Yeah. And at some point he's like, stop talking about it, just tell them when it's coming out. And so the next big piece of information that he's going to give everybody is, whether that's tomorrow or a year from now, will be that we've made a deal and we're going to production, instead of here's who's the director, here's who a new actor is. So it sounds like the next announcement, he wants to get the communication out there. The next announcement is going to be a real deal announcement. So that's kind of cool. Yeah, so I think that's kind of the main stuff that people might care about with that particular news item. But if anybody wants us to cover any other parts of it, just let us know. I actually think I have a better story to cover this one later on, so I'm going to skip that one for now, because it's about Vertigo.
Come back later.
And we have a different Vertigo article that kind of makes sense that came out after I shared the first one. So this is the next big one. Gizmodo reports this story. A lot of other places did as well. This was widespread information. Jim Lee came out and said that as long as he is president of DC Studios, the company will not have its heroes drawn or written by AI. The one thing I'll add to this is, again, I don't know if people remember this, but I did cover this at one point.
Yeah.
So they've had some AI covers. They've been caught doing that. No, I don't think that they necessarily knew they were AI covers. I think they could have done their due diligence a little bit better if they didn't know. But anyhow, kind of a minor point here.
They were submitted by artists as original work.
Yeah,
and they weren't original work.
Exactly. Francisco Mentina is the big one with a Superman cover that was very clearly AI generated, because the House of L crest had like a second S growing out of it that I have a hard time believing any artist could possibly, do intentionally.
Oops, how did I do that?
Yeah, it's like a 8 looking S kind of. If you see it, it's really egregious. It's really obvious. So Jim Lee has kind of taken a firm stance against AI going forward, is what I'll add to this, even though it doesn't say that.
Beautiful crypto piece there. That's awesome.
Gorgeous. That Jim Lee guy, man, he can draw.
I tell you.
Not very fast, but he can draw. Just to dig at his Hush release schedule right now. It's almost like being the president of a major multimedia company will slow down your progress drawing a comic book.
He is pretty prolific, actually, but
he is. But I mean, I'm just saying his recent.
He's got a lot of things that he has, a lot of hats he's trying to wear. Yeah,
yeah. I'm not. So I don't think. I think he actually could deliver a lot quicker if he was able to focus more, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But this is universally perceived as a very good thing. I think pretty much everybody was really happy about this, except for a few people out there that for some reason really want to support AI. I don't know.
I guess.
But I will say that on the heels of this, I know Marvel made an announcement saying that they won't use AI, and I want to say, gosh, I think it was Dark Horse made the same commitment, I think. So interesting stuff. I'm sure most people are happy to see that. Psycho Phil, by the way, hello Psycho Phil. Thanks, welcome for coming to the show. Thank you for coming to the show, man. Yeah, the first Spawn movie is an acquired taste. It actually just came out on 4K UHD, and I was kind of tempted because I like comic book movies. So
there's some parts.
I like John Leguizamo as the clown.
I love John Leguizamo. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He's a great actor.
Yeah, that part's cool, but yeah, it's got some problems too, for sure. I can't defend it. Rapper
Daylight.
Is that Daylight? Is that I was gonna go with Dolly YT. Thank you very much for being more hip than I am. He has a whole Spawn face tattoo. I didn't know that. That's cool. I gotta look that up now. This is a hot take. I like this. I feel like Todd is trying to be the face of comics after Stan Lee and the way he answers things. I'm really not mad at the decision. He has big enough ego to fill those shoes, but not too cocky. He is the Todd father for a reason. I think is that's an accurate portrayal. He could definitely be trying to fill those shoes as an elder statesman of the comic community.
I mean, I would go so far as to say he is an older statesman of the comic community at this point.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, you could kind of, it's, you know, I know that E-Man probably said that as we were talking about Todd, but you could kind of say that this qualifies a little bit along the same lines, perhaps.
Yeah.
I know, by the way, the one personal conversation I had with Jim Lee, he made it so clear how much he respects Stan Lee. It was weird. I was wearing a Stan Lee t-shirt, and that's basically all we talked about with Stan Lee. That was the majority of our conversation, which there's worse things to do when you're talking to somebody like Jim Lee, to talk about another great creator and his respect for him. But he had an enormous amount of respect for Stan Lee. Just worth pointing that out. Original physical media like comic books, fine art, original sketches, etc., potentially going up in price due to AI advances. Yeah, it's one of those things where digital artists have a bit of a harder time sometimes. I think a harder pathway to like selling original art, for example, like they're selling prints usually. It's a good point. A really good point.
Yeah.
Is it that low of a blow, or is it just talking about the reality of the situation? It's interesting that Jim Lee specified no generative AI. Well, it's interesting, and it's also just specific. It depends on how you look at it, Derek. For example, the classic thing that I would point out is people would say, well, AI is ruining all media. And I'd point out that AI was used to create the Two Towers movie. You know, AI has been used to create video games, but it's not generative AI. So, and also generative AI, there's some cool use cases for generative AI. We talked about this with people like Jim Starlin. We talked about it with some others too, that wish to remain anonymous is what I'll say. But there's some artists out there that do a closed model system. So something can only train off of their artwork. It doesn't have access to the open web, or they're not using it to create something that could be created by another artist. They're using like nature photography, that kind of stuff that's available from a public database. So there are some use cases for stuff like that where I think it does get into interesting spaces. But I think generative AI is just a really good way to be specific in this particular case. But yeah, there could be some wiggle room there, I guess, maybe too. Priest is my favorite character in that movie for reasons. Yeah. Speaking of She Spawned, I'm right about that, right? She becomes She Spawned, right?
I think so.
I think so. Preston has two issues using AI in entertainment. First, artists whose work created the module used to create it do not get their royalties. Agreed, 100%. Second, I'm afraid it would be used to not hire creative people. I think those are both fair criticism, and especially with generative AI that are using large learning models for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I think we've talked about that. Like, would people's opinions change if they were identifying whose skills were being used when they generated and they were paying them accordingly? But
and I think that's a really interesting path forward. I mean, you have places like, you can make the argument that services like Spotify today have helped reduce the amount of piracy by making music streaming widely available at an easy price. But one of the things that makes that model possible is they pay royalties to the creators.
Right.
And with a lot of cases that's studios, which then therefore they have contracts that distribute, how that distributes amongst the artists, all that kind of stuff. It gets complicated. Maybe that click gets them 1 penny or something like that. But if enough people click, it's a lot of pennies. Just ask somebody like Taylor Swift.
Pennies make dollars. That's right.
Yeah. Try to take over for Dave Sim now that he has lost his mind. There you go. Long live Stan Lee. I guess speaking of AI and Stan Lee, I didn't have the story pulled, but there's the whole AI Stan Lee thing.
Yeah.
Marvel talking about not using AI at the same weekend that they used I'll call it a Tupac hologram Stan Lee. I don't know what else to call it. I don't know what the hologram technology, AI technology to create that experience. That's so weird. Just use AI to fill out my yearly self-evaluation at work. We'll see if they notice. I mean, if they use AI to detect AI, maybe the computers will spot the computers. I don't know. Teachers, I feel so bad for teachers, like having to read essays and stuff these days,
right?
Or even paragraph answers or whatever. Need that Melinda Clark Sig, such a baddie. Is that who played Priest in the film? Melinda Clark. I'm just gonna Google that because I'm curious now.
I know Mr. Akins from What's on the Comic Rack is a teacher, and he was telling me about the AI leaves digital signatures that if you know what you're looking for, you can find it. So, but people are getting smarter and smarter so they can get around it.
Yeah. So. And it's just that it's people. This is almost a cliche statement at this point, but AI is getting better and better. It's not like it's getting better and better in the next decade. It's getting better and better by the month almost.
Right.
Some of those Sora videos that are going around, the Sora video creation module for AI is fooling a lot of people I know personally.
The one with what's his name? Our buddy.
Swag.
Yeah, his video on that was really interesting.
Yeah, I didn't watch his video. I saw the short he did, of course, but I didn't get a chance to check out the video yet.
Yeah, no,
he did really a wrestling video.
He had videos where he told it to tell it to create a video where he was ripping off an old granny at a garage sale and snickering about it because he walked away, and it was this whole thing. Yeah, and it looked just like him.
I think wasn't the title of his video or something like that, like AI can make better videos than I can or something, or
yeah.
It's creepy. It's creepy.
Well, that wrestling one that he did he said it made more hits than a ton of other videos that he's done recently. So he's like, yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Absolutely. It's nuts. But hey, make a long story short, kudos to the comic book companies that are taking a stand on AI. And I like how it kind of was almost like dominoes. Like one company said it, then another company said it, then another company said it. It was cool. It was neat. I like seeing that.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Hopefully they all live up to it. Excuse me. That did not copy correctly. Sorry. Going to talk about our next story here. I did not read much about this. I just kind of pulled this for the announcement. This is from comicsbeat.com. One of the things that got teased at Comics Beat is the new Queen in Black. Hela is going to become the new symbiote lord, I guess. I don't know what to refer. The Queen in Black, basically.
Okay.
Pretty cool. Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's apparently going to kick off in this Spider-Man annual. This is the Vincentini cover art for that cover, for that comic book.
The purple guy running. Who is that? Some sort of speedster, huh?
Yeah, I think I just read. I've only read like one comic book that character appears in. I think. I think they appeared in a Miles Morales comic I read. Maybe I'm mixing it up with another character. But yeah, pretty interesting stuff. I'm curious to see. We just reported on the King in Black returning. It'd be the King in Black being Null, returning earlier this year. So kind of interested to see where this all goes. I think Null is one of the more fascinating, like, big bads that's been introduced in Marvel.
E-Man says Queen in Black first appeared in Venom 250.
Oh, interesting. I did not know that. Okay. Yeah, I've got so many copies of that comic book, so that's fun to hear. Thanks for the scoop on that, E-Man. The bigger news, it's that this is Marvel's first crossover from a video game to a canon 616 comic.
Oh.
Interesting. I wouldn't think that's true, but yeah, I guess I can't pull another example where it's happened. That's cool. Nice. I still have fatigue from the King in Black event. That's fair. I think that, how do I word this? I think that Donny Cates, who was a huge part of the King in Black event, the writing behind it, was at a point in his life where he was going to have a hard time completing work at the level he was before. And I think that was kind of the beginning of him falling off for a while. And I hope he comes back in full force at some point. I don't know if he's currently on anything yet, since he was coming back to comic books, but I heard he was coming back. Curious if anybody out there knows. I'd love to know, because I'd like to see if this stuff's back up to par with what it used to be.
She was in Marvel Rivals, so
yeah, I figured that's what you meant, but I was trying to think of, like, I want to say that there was a character from Marvel Snap that appeared. Maybe not, though. I can't pull the character's name, so maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so yeah, that's really fun. Good trivia. I like it. I like it a lot.
Is it Galactica, the one you're thinking of?
I might, but I think maybe she was Rival. I think she was the like intro. What do you call that? The tutorial character from Rivals, and I think they made her a card in Snap. So I think I have that backwards.
Gotcha.
But I thought there was some other game character that came to life. I just feel like there was. Doesn't mean I'm right. That's funny. I love that, E-Man. Again, thanks for sharing that. That's cool.
That is cool.
Speaking of cool, one of my favorite storylines from when I was a kid that probably not a lot of people have a lot of, well, I bet you some people have a fond memory for it, but I bet you a lot of people kind of have a less than fond memory of this event. But I really enjoyed Nightfall. I was at a right age for it when it came out. But they're doing, yeah, I thought it was better than the Death of Superman. Personally, I mean, it's a similar style story. Yeah,
it's like, who's gonna fill the shoes, right?
Right, exactly. And I really enjoyed it. There was an audio adaptation of the novelization that had different, I'm pretty sure it had different voice actors that I listened to, because I read a lot of the comic books, and then I was going out and like chopping wood with my dad, and I forced him to listen to this audio. I was like, hey, if I'm gonna go do this, let's listen to this audiobook for this comic book thing I like. And I remember enjoying that experience. And it's just, I've always had a fond memory of Batman Nightfall. But the news story that I was trying to get out there is they're doing an animated film series of Nightfall.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, I'm excited. There's not really a whole lot to this, I don't think, when I skimmed this when I first pulled it, but it just basically was announced. I'm excited. It's going to be multi-part animated film adaptation.
I always like watching it because they kind of tweak things a little bit, so it's not exactly the same as the books were. So
yeah, they've done a pretty good job. I mean, think quality kind of slid off at one point, but I do think that this is a great story. It should be pretty hard to screw this up. Maybe they'll find a way, but pretty fun. You know, I had a news story that I posted that I'm going to skip over. I'm just going to quickly mention. It's not really. I don't think there's any comic book relation to it. But you know, I just wanted to mention Diane Keaton did pass away this week, which is another big celebrity actor that we lost. So I just wanted to kind of you know, just mention that, and just
I'm sure she's been in a lot of movies that we've all loved and enjoyed. So
exactly. Let's see here. So this was a big one for me coming out of NYCC. Is Swamp Thing and Something Is Killing the Children are going to cross over. I think it's fascinating. So
that should be cool.
It's really cool. I don't know any of the details of this. I haven't seen much else reported. I think this maybe was just a teaser announcement. I just happened to see it on Twitter one day as I was kind of getting the X-Men news, but it's going to be a DC Black Label book, obviously, as you can see on the screen. I'm excited for that. That's probably my biggest NYCC announcement that I was stoked to hear about, because I think that's just so out of left field that I'm excited for it. And I love Swamp Thing, and I love Something That's Killing Children. So, hell yeah,
good stuff.
Yeah. Let's see. Along similar lines, as I drop my water all over my keyboard. That
hey, don't do that.
Make sure like burn the stream or anything. Dangerous copy paste. Oh no, that pulled up the same here. What I did do is destroy my copy paste. Here we go. Loading. Oh, it's going to be stubborn here. Let me share this.
If the 80s taught me anything, spilling fluids on your computer will bring it to life. So
yeah, it's a good way to start war games, I believe. This is the slate of titles that's launching with Vertigo. And I mentioned this earlier that I talked about 100 Bullets got an announcement, which is the last image you see there on the bottom right. But there's a full slate of titles that was announced at NYCC after that. So, you know, a couple interesting ones here. You know, 100 Bullets, of course, returning, very popular series. Nice House by the Sea is going to become just a transition over into DC Vertigo, which makes perfect sense.
Right.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else here that sticks out to me. I mean,
Necretaceous looks cool as a zombie dinosaur book. That's cool.
Yeah, Tom Taylor doing a zombie T-Rex book. I mean, hell yeah. But yeah, pretty cool. You know, it's been funny watching the trajectory of Vertigo, like disappearing, getting rolled into like, oh, we're gonna call it Black Label for the most part, and then no, Vertigo's back. It's kind of surprising that Something Is Killing the Children and Swamp Thing isn't going to be Vertigo, but with the timing of this,
you might have that little imprint on there somewhere.
It might, yeah.
I thought it was interesting that they said the 100 Bullets storyline is going to be tied directly into the other series, so that's pretty cool.
Black Tower. Ram V is writing Black Tower. Dungeon Crawler Kevin. Hey, cool name. I need to restart reading that book. I hear so many good things about it. Yeah, that E-Man, that is $1 million question that I do not have an answer for. I could see them making it canon for both, kind of. I don't think it would be that hard to do for Something Is Killing the Children. It'd be harder for Swamp Thing, because then if weird stuff happens later on in the Something Is Killing the Children universe that, you know, they can't say is canon to the greater DC continuity. Yeah. Yes, there is a new Jar Jar Binks. You're right. Yep, I didn't pull that story, but you are correct.
I think it could be canon even if it is in a different universe, because Swamp Thing has that connection to the green, which connects all different multiverses. So
that's true. That's true. Yeah, Nightfall was definitely better than the Clone Saga. I agree with that, Metal Elf. We're the first fight character. That's a good question. That's a great question, Preston. Let me refresh myself on who those characters were. No, not the Charlie Day Ice Cube film Fist Fight from 2017. No, thank you.
Yeah.
I'll have to research that after the show. But yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's some serious potential there. It did kind of make me wonder, that those two companies have been having those kind of conversations. Makes me wonder if there might be more crossovers in the future, of course.
Greatest American Hero. Cool.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Believe
So I think I'm
it
just
or
going to
not.
share. I'm just going to share the Discord news screen for a second because a couple of these stories I could go find a press release, I'm sure, but this is what I shared when I shared them in our Discord server. By the way, there's a Bronze Age Nerd Discord server. There's a link in the description to join that server. Every once in a while, that link gets corrupted. So if you need a new link for it, just let me know. I'll post a new one in the chat in a minute here. Scotty Young is taking over writing duties on a Lobo series. Jorge Corona is going to be the artist on that. Here's a quick sketch that Jorge had. Well, I don't know about quick, but here's a sketch that Jorge had done at one point that he used in his announcement when he posted it on Twitter. Really cool to see Scotty Young take on the main man. I love it.
Yeah.
This was cool too. Another big, announcement for a series. Josh Williamson and Carmen Carnero are on a new Iron Man series that's heavily rooted in the 90s. So a lot of, I think there was some teasers about some modular armor. You see Citizen V, War Machine, that kind of stuff. There's a lot of the panel apparently was very heavily rooted in 90s talk for Iron Man, which
Madam Mask.
Yeah. I've got a lot of nostalgia for that period of Iron Man because that's kind of the Iron Man stuff that I was reading live when I was growing up. So
yeah. Hey, your boy.
Yeah, cover reveal for the Cyclops series. It's gonna be Shadows of Tomorrow's the first storyline. Apparently, it's gonna be a very dark series, is kind of what the creators tease. So I'm excited about that too. That's
the art
cool.
That looks really cool. The cover looks great.
Yeah, I think the cover looks sweet. Let me see what else here.
All 4 Cyclops fans.
Yeah, hey, there's literally several of us. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, Jay.
It's okay. We deserve it. Let's see here. I want to show I have community art queued up. I feel like
Harry Potter says that the Age of Revelation has him excited for X-Men, and the Cyclops series is a great start. There you go.
Yeah, Age of Revelation is looking interesting. Ooh, man,
he did have a Campbell exclusive just recently. So
yeah, that's true. Yep. I hope it's better than that Batman one that came out where he's like just putting on his utility belt. I don't know. I got like weird porn parody vibes from that cover for some reason because you don't see Batman.
Maybe he's taking off his utility belt instead of putting it on.
He might be, but or maybe he's putting it on after some bat business. I don't know.
A little
yeah, but yeah. Oh, dude, this is 100% being. This is true to form. In fact, there was a question on Twitter that somebody asked, like, genuine question. This is like the quote, basically. Why do so many people hate Cyclops? And I had to wade into that one. And I seriously think there's 2 main factors why people hate Cyclops. No one asked for this, by the way, but I'm going to go ahead and explain it as our viewers just drop off the face of the planet. Reason number 1, I think that the Fox movies did him dirty. And because of that, his kind of popular portrayal to a lot of people, first exposure maybe to a lot of people since like the animated series or ever, was pretty weak. They use him as a punchline a lot. The term cuck comes to mind maybe a little bit. with how they treated him in a forced love triangle that I've never truly believed in personally. Anyways, it just wasn't a good look for Cyclops. I don't think it turned anybody to being a Cyclops fan. You had probably the most powerful, arguably him or Storm, like the most visibly powerful characters on the X team. And they didn't really get to use their powers all that often. Storm kind of did, but Cyclops basically never did. Like Sabretooth caused him, or was it Toad? Toad caused him to blow the roof off of a train station or a bus depot or whatever, and he shot some clay pigeons really quickly.
I was just thinking of that.
Cool. Oh, he knocked a seatbelt off to save Rogue from an exploding Winnebago or whatever the truck that is. I mean, it's just, there wasn't much to it. And the second reason is so many writers have taken a ham-fisted approach to Cyclops over the years in the X-Men continuity that if you look at his history and his past, it's just messed up and his tone is all over the place. In some comic books, he comes off as emo. In some comic books, he comes off as self-righteous. In some, he comes off as narcissistic. And I think it kind of loses the thread for what Cyclops really is. And I think Preston just made the comment that I was just going to make, where I was going to get to this, is the recent animated series treated Cyclops as competent with useful powers, and the Fox movies never did that. And the X-Men 97 series was a much more fair portrayal of Cyclops as a character. And truly, is it true for all of the X-Men characters? Was there anything that got treated dirty? I think pretty much every character I can think of in the X-Men 97 series was treated as fairly as I can imagine, and including Cyclops having some quandaries around Madeline, which is fair. There should be some weirdness there. If you're going to introduce the character of Madeline, there needs to be some weirdness involved in that.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And, and even thinking about other characters, like they did a good job showing Forge as being, he created technology that took Storm's powers away, and he felt really guilty about that, and he hid secrets. And pretty much every character, they did a really good job. Gambit having kind of a chip on his shoulder about the Magneto Rogue thing and then sacrificing himself. And it was, it's just a great show. Cannot wait for it to come back. I did share with a private group a leaked trailer from season 2 that was shown at NYCC. It was like recorded big screen footage. It looked awesome. I can't wait for the real trailer to come out to see it kind of in better audio and video quality. But it looked dope, and I cannot wait for that show to come back. I believe it's coming back in March, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. So yeah. Any other news anybody wanted us to touch on? I know
your thing in the private chat from Jay.
Yeah, that's the one I was going to get to, but I want to make sure anybody had a chance to throw out any other stories that they wanted to talk about. I've got one more here to share that Jay told us about, which I did see, and it is a cool story. I should do this in a new window because I'm going to go right back and show community art in a second. That's our next segment. But if anybody has anything they want to make sure we get our take on, and that's a good one too. They renewed it for season 3. Yo, what's up, Chonko Comics and Nerd Culture? How you doing? So this is a really great reminder from Jay. This is from Comic Speed as well. We're getting some crazy crossovers in DCKO. Dynamite has a lot of characters coming to DCKO. Obviously, you see Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat there. But yeah, you can see from this screenshot right here, we got Homelander, Red Sonja, Vampirella, and you can all rip on me as much as you want. I have no idea who that bear is. That's not Boris the Bear, is it?
That's not Boris.
And then
Sam
the little
beneath the trees. There we go. Maybe
is it like a Five Nights at Freddy's kind of thing? Okay, Sam from beneath the
bear
trees.
there's a bear in Beneath the Trees. Maybe it's
okay. Sam. And is that like the little girl from The Exorcist in there? Boy, maybe this article tells us, and I should just read it. Beneath the trees where nobody sees. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Annabelle. Okay, so Annabelle. Yeah, that's a horror movie character. Okay. Chat, you're undefeated. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Sorry to make you all have to type that out. These are the characters coming. So Snyder asked, who doesn't want to see Homelander fight Superman? I have seen that question posed about 1 billion times.
Yep.
Red Sonja, Wonder Woman, maybe. I don't know what a good fit for that would be. Big Barda. Yeah, that could be interesting.
Wonder Woman would be a good matchup with Red Sonja. That'd be good.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of who Vampirella fighting. I want to see her team up with like Zatanna or Constantine or something like that, but I don't know who she should actually fight.
Right.
If it was Marvel, I would say Blade would be pretty freaking funny.
That would be funny.
I don't know DC vampire stuff enough. Are there any prominent vampires?
They just had that big DC versus vampires crossover.
Yeah,
so
that's true. I'm not up enough to know who would be a good one for that. Superman with Solo the Boy. Yeah, it's been so long since I read the comic. I can't remember if the comic versions are much more powerful than the TV counterparts or not. I feel like they were more powerful. But yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. That's cool though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I didn't see anybody else post any big articles or anything like that we need to address. So I'm going to make sure that we know where to start. Here we go. Know where to start here. And we're going to talk about some community artwork from people in the community.
From you to us, it's art for all. At Best Coast Comics, we answer the call. Fans and creators, bold and smart. Join the line for Comic
All right, we got a ton of great community art this week to talk about. First set of images comes from Erwin Papa. By the way, we did create a channel on the Discord server. Well, basically, we opened up access to the channel we were already using on the Discord server for sharing community artwork. So everybody can post their own community artwork here, or you can go check out the community artwork that has been shared previously. Or if you want to see higher quality, versions that aren't just on a shared screen, you can go look along with us if you like, or always check them out. So this is some Ghost Man art created by Raymar Brunson by Erwin Papa. A couple different images he did here.
That's cool.
Very cool.
Good stuff, buddy.
Yeah. Very neat.
I love that Ghost Man first panel. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Reminds me of that old the old DC, I think it was DC, or was it Charlton Ghosts logo. Really cool.
Nice. This is from Headless Hammerhead. He says, this is a painting I finished today. Neo Art Nouveau style mixed media on canvas. These colors are accurate to the painting, not enhanced. So kind of
that's
very cool coloration there, like he's alluding to.
Yeah. Love it.
I love the
awesome work.
Colors there too. That's cool. Very neat.
That's very cool.
We got Steve Driscoll coming in with a very holiday seasonal appropriate little Frankenstein's monster there, and a little cat.
Little werewolf in the background.
Yep. Very cool. Love it. Eric from SideQuest Comics also coming in with the Frankenstein's monster. Great stuff.
Yeah, love it. That's beautiful. Love the detail there.
Yeah, the eye really is fun too. I like it a lot. And the
stitches are great too. And yeah, good job, man.
Nice. Dominic Gomez. Wow.
Very cool.
That's cool.
I don't know if you've seen his stuff, if you guys follow him on Instagram, but he's doing the October, the Sketchtober or whatever, doing one piece every day. So
that's very cool.
That's a commitment.
Yeah.
That's cool
though. Hey, we just had Rad Art and Comics in the chat earlier.
Saturn
some more. Yeah, that's cool. And got Saturn in the background there. Some more sexy artwork. He's been doing some really great pinups recently for some commissions. Yeah, I think this is probably one of those as well. That's cool. Well done. Got Steph. Usually badly timed yawn there. We got Stephanie, former guest on the show. You've seen her on the show before, doing some more of her sculpting.
Yeah. Phantom Girl, Radar said. Phantom Girl. Good to see you, Rad. Just like earlier. Yeah.
Phantom Girl. Okay.
Yeah. Beautiful stuff by Madam there. That's awesome.
Yeah. Very cool concept.
Yeah.
Philtastic Comics and Art. Frank Capra. Okay, cool.
He's doing a famous Italians, I believe, is what he said. Italian Americans.
Is it Italian History Month or something?
He was doing it for an Italian History Month
cool.
deal. So that's
really cool.
Yeah, he sent me some of those a while ago. So yeah, really
nice.
Cool.
Oh
man, Lone Wolf
every week we get a drool. That's awesome.
Yeah, good work. That is Evgeny.
Love that.
Yeah,
Evgeny Sokolov. I love the cloth detail there on the kimono.
Yeah, very good stuff, man.
I'm reading. I think I mentioned this a show or two ago. I'm reading Shogun, the James Clavell 1,600-page epic novel right now, and this is very much up my alley.
Right on.
At the moment. Elliot Wright.
Spider-Man.
It's horrifying. Spiders coming up.
Spiders coming up on him.
Yeah, and the broken. I mean, if he was wearing the full costume, probably wouldn't be that bad. But with the broken mask, that's not good. Love it, Elliot. And then these were. I got to scroll down. Who are these from?
Metal Elf.
Posted by Metal Elf. There we go. I thought for some reason I thought these were ones Biggie posted. Just got in that rhythm. But Metal Elf was posting these
watercolor there. That's cool. I love that watercolor, that effect of the bleeding out. That's cool.
Nice. Oh, that's really cool.
Very nice. That is cool. Like it. Looks like you're getting ready to do some coloring on that.
Yeah.
That's
wow.
Really cool.
Neat.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Old devilish man there.
Yeah. For when I first saw the smaller picture, I almost thought it might be Maleficent, but that's cool.
Yeah. Like it.
Cool stuff. Curious to see if this one's getting worked on a little bit more, if you'll post the update when it's done.
Yeah.
Very cool neat. Stuff. All right.
But thank you to everybody who shares their art with us. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll go ahead and I mentioned I'd post an invite earlier and I forgot to do that. So here's that invite in the live chat for anybody to jump into the Discord server. Just in case the one in the description below is outdated. I got to keep checking on that every once in a while because for some reason they just expire. No, thank you for sharing. And thanks for everybody. If you don't want to join the Discord, it's a free Discord server. There's no catches or anything like that. If you don't want to join for whatever reason, to have another social app or whatever it is, which by the way, always mute your notifications on Discord servers. If you're one of those people that doesn't like notifications and that's what turns you away from it, it's easy to just mute all of them. But you can go in and post your own art, or you can send it directly to Big B and I, or either one of us or whatever. Through any social media, and we'll go ahead and make sure that gets mixed to the show.
For sure.
So yeah, one last update that I want to make sure I throw out there. We did record a episode of our new podcast. We're doing that's like a separate show. It was on our favorite 10 Marvel reads, or 10 suggestions we would recommend, basically.
Right.
Not our top 10, but just 10 great ones.
10 great
the editing on that is taking a long time. I'm about 3/4 of the way done editing it right now. Unfortunately, I'm also preparing for the Frankenstein comic swap, and I also have to go do some car repair stuff in the morning. So I'm having a little bit longer time getting that one done and finished because there was just a lot of images I'm adding in to go along with all the comic books we're talking about. And that required a little bit more editing work than I was prepared for at the time. Apologies on that being a little bit later. It should be up at some point this week. Hopefully, I'm going to shoot for having it up by Wednesday, but we'll see if we hit that goal or not. But stay tuned. Keep your notifications on. Make sure you're subscribed to Big Beam Fly, the comic guy over there. Make sure you're subscribed to the EXP network of channels, and that can be on their Facebook page. That can be on their YouTube page, on Twitch. You can also subscribe to me if you want to, and you might be able to catch that video when it drops if you do that. Otherwise, just stay tuned, and we will definitely be back next week with another installment of Best Coast Comics Live. This show next Monday night at 8 p.m. Pacific. Bigby, you got anything you want to promote, pump? Anything you got to talk about?
Come see us at Frankenstein Comic Swap.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to see you there.
Yeah, I'll take some of the heat.
We get it, but we'd love to see you there if you are.
I'll take some of the heat for the lateness of that video. We had to do a lot of troubleshooting. We had some problems with audio and video. StreamYard was being weird for us, so it was making everything choppy, and then we're having issues with microphones. So thanks to Bronze for putting up with all that and helping me through that.
Yeah, and I guess 2 notes on that. So when you do see the final video, whatever video comes out, it's gonna. By the way, it'll be a long one. It'll be over an hour long. It'll be about an hour and 15 minutes, I think. You will see some choppiness from Bigby's camera. The audio isn't too bad. It's a little choppy, but it's not too bad. His camera's going to be a little like herky jerky. We figured out that problem though, and like he looks pretty smooth right now, and that's what's going to be like in the video. And then his audio sounding much better, I think. So hopefully that all paid off.
Yep.
So, all right. Well, we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks everybody for being here. If you are watching on the rewind, please leave a comment below and let us know if you enjoyed anything about the show, or if you have any suggestions for us. And if you're watching live, hey, we really appreciate you being part of this. And we will post an update on what happened at Frankenstein next week on our show, whether that's live or even the recorded episode. Maybe we'll talk about it there. If you're going to come to that show, make sure you mention that you are viewers or that you know us, because we may not know, and we'd love to, give you some stickers or whatever, and maybe even cut you a deal. Who knows, because we love our viewers. So, yeah, definitely check us out there if you can. And everybody have a great week. We'll catch you in the next one.